Sports Live, Tuesday night football from the AIA Singapore Premier League. In just 18 days' time, we'll crown our champions. There are 6 games to go, and for the Lion City Sailors, they're looking to make it 3 wins on the spin tonight to try and close the gap on Tampines Rovers and Albrecht Nagata above them. For their part, Hougang United have had some mixed form over the last couple of weeks, but they are still very much in contention, just 5 points off the league leaders of Albrecht Nagata. So we're ready for what is a quadruple header, the first quadruple header of the season. We'll keep you up to speed with the goals as they go in. From Albrecht and Balestier at Jurong East, Geylang against Tampines, Tanjong Pagar United at our Tampines hub, and the Young Lions against Tampines Rovers from Jurong West. All 4 games live across Singtel, StarHub, the AIA Singapore Premier League social media channels and One Play Sports. And a warm welcome wherever you're watching around the world. And that goes to show just how tight it is. 18 days to crown a champion. There is nothing between the top 2, and the Lion City Sailors know if Tampines and Albrecht Nagata slip up tonight with that impressive goal difference they've built up over the course of the last 14 days, they could be top by the end of Tuesday evening. As for Hougang, a win for them will see them leapfrog the Sailors into 3rd, so there's plenty to play for as the season builds up to a crescendo. It's a season that's already been in progress 8 months with that long gap for COVID, and there's certainly plenty to get excited about as we gear up for non-stop AIA Singapore Premier League football action all the way from now until the 5th of December. The home side, Hougang United, sit 4th, just a 1 clean sheet in the last 5. They had to deal with tragedy in the last fortnight as well, with the sad passing at the age of 59 of their assistant coach, Salim Moin, and his passing coincided with that poor result at Albrecht Nagata when they lost 4-0 with all 4 goals coming in the second half. But there's plenty of talent on display for both sides, and none more so than Farhan Zulkifli will be trying to pull the strings in what is a very defensively minded lineup for Clement Teo this evening. And that has been expected. Clement Teo very vocal in his pre-match briefings that his team weren't going to try and play expansive football. They're going to try and smother the creative force of the Lion City Sailors. The question is, if it goes wrong early, have they got a plan B to turn to? As for the Sailors themselves, well, they are 3rd. Their season began with a very mixed bag of results, including that astonishing second half capitulation at our Tampines hub against Tampines Rovers, but they are the form side in the division, coming here off the back of a 7-1 win against Balestier Khalsa and a 6-1 thrashing of Tanjong Pagar at the end of last week. Their squad is packed full of talent, but Stipe Plazibat is a man that can create goals and he can score them. 14 goals for him so far this season, and 5 of them, of course, came against the team he faces tonight. Hougang United, his former employers, he switched to the Sailors straight after the COVID suspension. Can they stop Stipe Plazibat? They managed to do so when the teams met 3 match days ago. That game ended in a 1-1 draw. So kick-off now is very much nearly upon us. Just 7 minutes to the sides will be out and ready to get underway. A whole host of top quality action to look forward to tonight as Singapore's Premier League celebrates its 25th anniversary of professional football in Singapore. Our eyes will all be here, but there are big games for Albrecht as they entertain Balestier Khalsa, who held Tampines so impressively to a 2-2 draw last time out. And Tampines themselves desperately need to bounce back after 2 consecutive draws. They visit the Young Lions, who were the last team to play here against Hougang. They impressed in the first half and actually went into the break all square, but despite playing against 10 men for the start of the second half, it was a Charlie Backall free kick that was the beginning of their downfall. We'll confirm the team lineups for you in just a moment, but I can give you a sneak peek by telling you that Hassan Sunny is back in between the sticks for the Lion City Sailors. He steps in at the expense of the reserve goalkeeper, Rudy Kairula, who drops down to the bench. He's finally recovered from that finger injury that's kept him out of the starting lineup for the last 2 games. In also comes Hafiz Noor. He starts tonight. He's a player trying to stake his claim to a regular starting spot for the Sailors. And for Hougang, a couple of changes we'll get to in just a moment, all of them with a defensive masterclass that Clement Teo clearly has in mind here tonight at the Hougang Stadium. So there are our match officials. Let's hope they have a good game this evening. Our officiating crew, led by referee Lim Liang Yi, and assisted tonight by Lim Kok Heng and Rathran Raj. Going to be plenty of pressure on them. There were plenty of yellow cards shown early in the game between Hougang and the Young Lions here at the end of last week, and that match, of course, ended with 2 red cards. And it's one of those red cards that leads to a suspension and a forced change for Hougang United, with Shafiq Ghani serving his 1-match ban for this one tonight. Well, the Lion City Sailors have looked so impressive coming forward, and one of the telling tactics they've employed is utilising Stipe Plazibat and Sungul Young through the middle. But talking of team news, breaking news in the last 24 hours is that Sungul Young was involved in a training ground collision with Akari, and he doesn't feature in the matchday squad tonight. Those starting lineups confirmed for you in just a moment as Hougang make their way out onto the pitch, which I must say is looking in good nick, considering how much football's being played on it and the rainy conditions that are prevailing here in Singapore. And if you're a fan of short shorts and tight shorts, keep an eye out for Zack Anderson and Lionel Tan, the shortest shorts in Singapore footballing history. But it doesn't matter what they look like, these Hougang United players are all business. They've had to cope with tragedy in the last fortnight, and they bounced back from that Albrecht's disappointment by really coming on strong in the second half here last time out against the Young Lions. But the question they have to answer tonight is the question that all of Singapore is facing over the next 18 days when it comes to professional football. How do you stop the star-laden Lion City Sailors, who gave everyone a head start with their mix and match start to the campaign, but now are going full steam ahead with very much Tampines, Rovers and Albrechts on their starboard bow and in their sights. A rare occasion tonight. Sees, I say a rare occasion. On the team sheets we're down as having 2 goalkeepers as captains, but as I look out there to Hougang United, it looks like Fabian Kwok is wearing the armband. No question who wears the armband for the Lion City Sailors. Hassan Sunny, the much-travelled Singapore #1, is the skipper of the Sailors tonight. So a warm welcome wherever you're watching around the world. These pictures going live on Sington and StarHub in Singapore, across the Singapore Premier League's Facebook page and OnePlay Sports and our associated partners worldwide. It's a quadruple header of AIA Singapore Premier League action with the Lion City Sailors, the exciting team of the moment. 13 goals in the last 2 games as the 2 sides take part in the pre-match fist bump, replacing the handshake during these COVID times. And just to remind you, we're so proud of the job that Singapore is doing in battling the COVID-19 pandemic, and this production is being brought to you under strict COVID-19 protocols. The Football Association of Singapore doing a wonderful job of getting professional football back up and running, and we will crown champions in just 18 days. And those champions, remember, with Albrechts and the Young Lions not included in that particular conundrum, will represent Singapore straight through to the group stage in next season's AFC Champions League. And in terms of that, only one team's out of the reckoning for AFC football this next season. Of the teams that could potentially qualify, Tanjong Pagar officially eliminated. As for the rest, Hougang and the Sailors included, AFC football very much on their mind for next season. The Sailors will be distraught if they don't get Champions League football, let alone the AFC Cup. Hougang, of course, very disappointed that their AFC Cup campaign was cut short by COVID when they featured in the continent's second-tier competition this season. So, as promised, here are the starting lineups. Hougang with those 5 changes to the team that beat the Young Lions last time out. Charlie Mackler was a half-time substitute in that game and scored within 120 seconds with a stunning free kick. Having come on the pitch, is back in the starting lineup. And an interesting team selection sees young Daniel Martins in the starting lineup. He, of course, has been on loan at Albrechts in recent years. Fabian Kwok will be the heartbeat of their midfield. There's a recall as well for Hafiz, and Ridwan takes over from Daniel Ong between the sticks. On the bench, you see Shawal Anwar. In a sign of just how defensively minded Clement Teo is going, Shawal Anwar, the leading light of Hougang in terms of the goal-scoring ranks, now that Stipe Plazibat is playing for their opponents tonight, is only good for a place on the bench. Well, the Lion City Sailors, the hardest decision Aurelio Vidmar must have to make every match day is which 11 to go with. It's a squad packed full of star Singaporean talent. Sharal Ishak is back on the bench tonight. Adam Swanley, who scored a brace coming off the bench last time out in their game against Tanjong Pagar, also has to make do with a place among the substitutes. In the starting lineup, there are 2 changes to the team that demolished Tanjong Pagar. Hassan Sunny back in between the sticks, and Hafiz Noor is an interesting selection. He's got a point to prove when he starts to prove it to Aurelio Vidmar tonight. No Song or Young, of course, for injury. That's given Hafiz Noor his opportunity. There's Clement Teo, the boss of the Cheetahs, and Aurelio Vidmar, who was pacing around the running track from this stadium when he arrived just a couple of hours ago, will be trying to mastermind Clement Teo, who emerged as a very strong coaching force managing the Cheetahs over the last couple of years. I can see already the Hougang Halls are over there, sneaking through the fence to the far side. Shout out to the Hougang Halls. It'll be the Lion City Sailors in their white shirts playing from left to right. In the orange and black is Hougang United playing from right to left. And a reminder, we'll do our best to keep you up to date with all the goals as they go in from our other matches around Singapore tonight on the first quadruple header of the season. And I think we're getting set through the first 20 seconds for how the pattern of play will be here for the majority of the 90 minutes. It's going to be lots of possession for the Sailors. Can they find a way through the middle, though, without Song Il-yong in the starting lineup tonight? There's too much juice on that pull through, and it's out for a goal kick. And we're underway in two of our games, still awaiting for kick-off at Jurong East and Jurong West. I do wonder whether there's a lightning warning in effect there, because they haven't got underway yet, but they're also underway at our Tampines hub in the East, Geylang International and Tanjung Pagar. Yeah, let's hope the lightning warning system doesn't come into effect. If you're watching us from around the world, there's a system here in Singapore where if there's lightning in the area, a little siren goes off and the players must depart the field of play for their own safety. As that one slips through, and Akari's going to have to tidy this up. He's got company because Varhan Zulkifli was chasing that one down. And now Shardan takes control through the middle. He gets it out to Naikudin. Naikudin getting it back. A feature of those two big wins against Balestier and Tanjung Pagar is just how quickly the game went from being a tight affair to being blown open. And this man in possession now, Gabriel Quack, he might not be the leading lights in terms of the goals that he scored, but his work rate and his ability has been there for all to see as Zack Anderson gets that header away, where it's met by Hafiz. But they're back in business again with that man Gabriel Quack going through the middle looking for a free kick, but the referee not interested. Fabian Kwok stood his ground, and the referee waves play on, and it's back with Kaishu Yamazaki. Yamazaki who got the opening goal with his head from a Shardan corner in that 6-1 win against Tanjung Pagar. Gabriel Quack is down, holding his right ear there. I don't know if he got a bang on the ear here from Fabian Kwok. It was a very dramatic fall. He didn't do much wrong for me from that angle, certainly Fabian Kwok, but he's clearly caused Gabriel Quack some discomfort. Fabian, a good sport that he is straight over to see that his international compadre is in good shape. And it looks like maybe just a question of the magic sponge. Underway now at Jurong East, Albirex and Balestier. Second placed Albirex, who moved up to first after their 1-0 win against Geylang, against fifth place Balestier. They're underway there, and they've just kicked off as well at Jurong West. The young Lions, rock bottom of the shop, entertaining second place Tampines Rovers, who'll be desperate to get back on a winning thread tonight. Gabriel Quack looks like he's going to be okay to continue, but because the physio was called on, they'll have to depart the field before he can come back on. And something we've seen quite a lot of this season, our referee, Lim Yang Yi, restarting with a drop ball that the Sailors are allowed to take uncontested. Here's Akari. Haven't seen much of Charlie Amachil yet. He, of course, came up with that stunning free kick right after half-time that put Hougang back in front against the Young Lions after they won that controversial penalty that Jacob Marler dispatched brilliantly. Great to see Jacob Marler and his coach Nasri on the excellent SPL show with Duncan Elias this week. You can check that out on social media channels if you want to keep up to date and enjoy the best of the action from the week so far in the Singapore Premier League. Now, Gabriel Quack, none the worse for that bang on the head, and Stipe Plazibat, haven't seen him touch the ball yet, and he didn't get to touch it there either. As we await the first goal of the night, with 4 games taking part across the Lion City State, as we try and cram in every side's remaining 6 games between now and December the 5th. Taking their time with this one, Hougang. They'll be happy with how they started. Fabian Quack looks already that they're going to be a tougher nut to crack than Balestier, who really had a bad day at the office when they conceded 7 against the Sailors, and of course Tanjung Pagar, who themselves looked to have a solid defensive plan till the 15-minute mark when it was blown wide open. And we featured this man before the game, and that's why Farhan Zulkifli, he's going to be a handful through the middle of the park, the youngster, and he wins a free kick in an area where Hougang might fancy sending this long. Noticeable that Zack Anderson, who scored a cracking goal with his head against the Young Lions, doesn't appear to be going forward for this just yet, as Shardan's pinged for the foul. Now he does go forward. Keep an eye on the big number 19, Zack Anderson. His first goal of the season last time out, and he's going to get into the danger area here to try and get on the end of whatever Afik Noor can conjure. It was from about this area on the pitch they scored that goal that opened the scoring against the Young Lions last time out, and that's a probing ball, but Hassan Sunny, one of the best keepers, if not the best keeper in the league, gathers it comfortably, and Gabriel Quack's away at the races, but he's had his pocket pinched by Fabian Kwok, and they could be in business here with Charlie Michael. Fabian Kwok gets it to far Hansel Kifley, who certainly looks like Jack Grealish-like, isn't he, with those socks down round his ankles? With only, what, 5 minutes on the clock. Here come the Sailors with Saifullah. Scored his first goal of the season in the 7-1 win against Balestier. Cutting in from the inside is Hafiz Noor. Great change of pace, but it was well watched by Fabian Kwok, who's putting in lots of work rate already. And they're bringing it away with Charlie Michael now. That's a good ball from Michael. Gets it to Nasrul. Nasrul tried to find a way through to Daniel Martins, who arguably was the surprise name in the starting 11 for Hougang tonight, making just his second appearance of the season. Placibat, as he often does, shows great work rate, drops deep. Croatian really has been setting this league alight, and I do wonder, he did have one stint in Thailand that didn't really go according to plan at Bangkok Glass. Now PG Batum, there are some big spending clubs in Thailand. Their season, of course, continues into the new year. They're playing a full programme. And that's going to be a free kick right on the edge of the area. Hold on to your hats, folks. This is a very dangerous piece of real estate to give us the opportunity to open the scoring on this quadruple header Tuesday night. No goals elsewhere. Alberex Nagata nil, Balestier Khalsa nil, Geylang nil, Tanjung Pagar nil, the Young Lions nil, Tampines Rovers nil. But the Sailors, who haven't mustered a shot on goal through the first 7 minutes, will certainly be firing one in here. Stipe Plazibat's over it. Gabriel Quack is over it. Shardan is the obvious one. He knows how to score great goals from dead ball situations. Very central this. In fact, it's an almost identical position on the pitch to where Charlie Michael got his goal right after half-time for Hougang to put them back in front against the Young Lions on Thursday night. Zack Anderson with those shorts right up, with the novel idea of painting his number on his leg. I don't think I've ever seen that before, but that's what happens when you get short shorts. Who's it going to be? Shardan, Quack, or Stipe? Stipe leaves it for Shardan! Not a million miles away, but not really much of a concern in Ridwan's goal, and that's the first shot in anger in this one over the bar. Yes, if you get a chance, have a look at Zack Anderson's legs. Because his shorts are so tight, I can only assume the referee's asked him to paint his number on his thighs. Now, they are rather strapping thighs, so, and even though he's got 2 numbers in his squad number, we have actually got a fantastic first-class director controlling these pictures for us tonight, so I'm sure she'll get us a close-up of Zack Anderson's number drawn on his thigh when she gets an opportunistic break in play, but I've never seen that before. I think that's a footballing first for the Singapore Premier League. And Lionel Tan has caught the short bug as well. Here's Hafiz Noor. Points to prove for Hafiz Noor. Can he start proving them now? He gets it back. And some one-touch football with Tajeli, who's been really impressive down the right-hand side, bombing up and down the flanks. That's a ball that gets it back to Hafiz Noor, and that's a really interesting cross, but Zack Anderson meets it well. There's Tajeli. Here's Saifullah. Saifullah to the 6-yard box, and he let it bounce, Ridwan, quite confidently, but you don't like to do that when Stipe Plazibat is lurking. We're almost 10 minutes into all the matches tonight. We're still to see the first goal. Get involved if you're watching on social media. Leave a comment in the comments section. Where do you think the first goal is going to come tonight on our quadruple header of AIA Singapore Premier League action, as Yamazaki belts that one clear in the Lion City Sailors defence. So stakes very high tonight for all the top 3 teams, and Hougang really. Hougang still not out of this title race yet. with 6 games to go. A win tonight would put them right back in the thick of things. And Tampines, remember, they can go top if Albirex Niigata slip up at home to Balestier Khalsa, and Marko Krajovic's men have been nothing if not unpredictable in the last couple of weeks, following up that disastrous game against the Sailors with a very admirable 2-2 draw. Oh, there's a chance through for Hougang, and the shot is blocked by Hassan Sunny. That really opened up for Hafiz there, and he couldn't get a solid enough contact, but a concern for the Lion City Sailors, who, let's not forget, even though they've been winning big, have struggled in terms of clean sheets, just 2 clean sheets all season, and the 4-0 wins against Geylang and the Young Lions. Young Lion victory by 5-0 on match day 5 at the start of November. Here comes Saifullah out to Akari on this near side. They definitely early on looked to be missing that double penetration through the middle that seen Stipe Plazabat and Song Yong team up so well. I wonder if it'll be Gabriel Quack that tries to employ some of that magnificent one-touch football that's seen such a couple of beautiful goals. Oh, here is Gabriel Quack, and he'll get the free kick again, much to the fury of Charlie Michael, who didn't like that decision. There's Zack Anderson's thigh with a 19 written on it. You can see just on the right a shot. And look, he's at it as well, Lionel Tan. What's all this? Taping numbers to the legs. I've seen it all now. So, they let Shardan have the first set-piece poke. He's over it again, but I think get the impression Gabriel Quack, who's hungry for more goals, might fancy a dig at this one. He's been at the heart of so much of the good play that the Sailors have produced in recent weeks, but he's only got 2 goals to his name when they've been scoring goals for fun. They've scored an astonishing 19 goals in the last 4 games. Shardan or Quack? This one will be Gabriel Quack! He's got 3 goals now, and the first goal of the night comes at Hougang Stadium. A stunning free kick from Gabriel Quack, his 3rd of the season. Look at the celebrations. That is a team in tune with each other, and the bandwagon of the Sailors rolls on. And as it stands in the league table, and with just 6 games to go, we are in the business of as it stands now. They're just 1 point behind the top 2 of Albirex and Tampines Rovers. And that is an absolute perler from Gabriel Quack. 30 minutes in, Hougang 0, Sailors 1. Well, Aurelio Fidmar will be delighted. In their last 3 games, they've made the breakthrough inside 15 minutes, and now what does Clement Teo do? The defensive tactics that he set his stall out to play here, that in truth, and in fairness to them, have seen some attacking forays as well. Now see them need to come from a goal behind. And one thing they haven't done this season, Hougang, is lose when they've been in front. The Sailors, that record of losing when they've been in front is very impressive indeed. Gabriel Quack on the 12-minute mark with a stunning free kick. What's the response from the Cheetahs? Fabian Kwok tries to get it through the middle. Charlie Michael sends it long, looking for Farhan Zulkifli, but that's an intelligent header. Nice work from Akari to get it back to Hassan Sunny. And so far, that Gabriel Quack goal is the only goal across the 4 games being played tonight in the AIA Singapore Premier League. And again, if it stays as it is now, with a lot of football still to be played tonight, it'll be Albirex top on 18 points, Tampines second on 18, and the Lion City Sailors right behind them with 17 points. Next up for the Sailors after this, though, is that crunch game at the Bishan Stadium against Albirex Niigata. Here's Shardan. Credit to the Hawks, they're still getting behind their team over on that far side. Look at this from Gabriel Quack. Is he a hungry player or what? Gabriel Quack, lovely touch, gets it to Saifullah. Saifullah gets it out wide, and Hougang just crowding them out of it for the time being. They've got to be patient with the build-up. but they really are taking advantage of the set-piece opportunities they've had in recent weeks. Zaifula played through the middle, and that could be another free kick. Referee plays on, but the second time he'll give the free kick for the foul on Hafiz Noor. And how many times can Hougang afford to be giving away set pieces and these opportunities? Was it Anders Aplin? Yes, it was. Well, actually, it wasn't Anders Aplin that conceded the free kick in the end. His challenge wasn't a foul. It was Fabian Kwok that gave that one up. And what do you do here? I think you've got to let Gabriel Kwak go again, haven't you? Chardin's over it as well. If Gabriel Kwak fancies hitting this with that sweet left foot again, it's going to be a world of pain for Hougang. That's the 20th goal that the Sailors have scored in the last 4 games. Are they about to make it 21? Surely got to go with Gabriel Kwak here with the left footer. But they know better than we. Chardin or Kwak? Can Kwak score 2 free kicks? They play it short with a trick play to the edge of the area, and that did not miss by much. Well, somewhat of a surprise, they decided not to go direct for goal, but it came out to, I think, Hafiz Noor it was on the edge of the area, and that was not a million miles away, with Ridwan rooted to the spot. Fabian Kwok. There you have it. Hougang's one opportunity coming with that effort that, in hindsight, Hafiz will probably wish he'd have done more with. Here's Anders Aplin. Anders Aplin, his ball cut out by Akari. Zaifula, and this is where the Sailors can be so dangerous. They break at such pace. Tearing through the middle, he just lost that ball behind him momentarily. Did Haiku. And that leads to the attack breaking down. And on a night where I think many people thought there'd be goal fests all over the Lion City State, that's the only goal we've seen. And every game now is over the quarter of an hour mark. Zack Anderson. Over the top, looking for the run of Hafiz. Can Hafiz get there first? Akari. I think that might have come off the Sailors' man last. It has. It'll be a throw to Hougang. What can they do here? Can they try and win a set piece of their own? On the edge of the area. They wanted the free kick. They tried to buy a cheap one there, but the referee wasn't buying it. From Daniel Martins. As the game just starts to get a little bit scrappy. Remember, we'll have hydration water breaks after the 25th and 70-minute marks. Oh, here's a nice chance for Hafiz. He's gone down, but the flag's up for offside. Just as we were looking at a penalty shout, the flag was up for offside over on that far side. The replay here is going to be interesting. To see how clear he was offside. There wasn't much of an appeal from the Hougang players, to be honest. Was there a penalty shout here in any case? Well, there was definitely a penalty claim there. If he's onside, that's a penalty. And I'm not entirely sure that the Sailors were aware the flag had gone up. Here comes Gabriel Kwak. He does look in the mood tonight, doesn't he? Just has it taken off his toes by Charlie Michael. And that one drifts over and will bobble out behind for a corner. First corner of the game. Remember, they scored from a corner, their first goal of the game in the 6-1 win against Tanjung Pagar after Chardin landed the ball beautifully on Yamazaki's head. So you can be guaranteed the big Japanese will be coming up from the back for this one. And you can also guarantee that Chardin will be trotting over to take it. Still goalless elsewhere. Albirex 0, Balestier Khalsa 0. The league leaders being held at home to Balestier at the moment. Geylang 0, Tanjung Pagar 0. And the Young Lions 0, Tampines Rovers desperately looking for their first win in 3-0. Chardin, all eyes for me here on Yamazaki. Chardin, another pinpoint delivery! And it's headed just wide by Stipe Plazibat. But it was telling that he got there first. They've got to be alive to these set pieces because the Sailors have got a man in Chardin who can land the ball on a 5-cent piece. Zack Anderson. Charlie Michael. And just like that, we're ticking over to the 20-minute mark. And Zaplin. They've now scored inside 15 minutes in their last 3 games straight. Some hustle in the corner by Daniel Martins. He looks lively, but they could be in trouble here. Oh, Hafiz Noor's a little bit naughty there. He's gone through, and I think you've got to give credit for Zack Anderson not reacting there. That's the kind of challenge where if the player reacts, you get your opponent in the book. And with those short shorts on, he's not got much protection on his thigh, Zack Anderson. And as Zaplin takes a free kick quickly. Already a Vidmar can't see it, but I'm sure if he saw a replay, that did look like a foul to me. And credit to Zack Anderson for not making him in of that. First goal of the night elsewhere, and the Stags are having a horror show. Having thrown away a 2-goal lead against Balestier, they now trail the Young Lions by a goal to nil at Geelong West. Young Lions 1, Tampines Rovers 0, and that means, as things stand, if it stays that way tonight, the Lion City Sailors will leapfrog Tampines into second, and if Albirex Nagata were to fall, it's still possible, but the Sailors would be top tonight. Big shock on the cards at Geelong West, everything going wrong for Paul Gavin-Lee and Tampines Rovers, who I know these are extraordinary circumstances and it shouldn't be taken literally, but they led the league for 9 months until there was only 20 days left in the season, and they are in free fall. Big problems for Tampines Rovers. That's the only other goal of the night so far. Great to see Coach Nasri and the Young Lions back in business, but they had a horror show here in the second half on Thursday against Hougang, so not beyond the realms that Tampines come back into that one. Meanwhile, we're midway point in the first half. Gabriel Quack, it's a heavy touch from Stipe, still manages to be the first one to it though, and Hougang just knock it clear. Kyrie Nadim, what a season he's having with the goal for the Young Lions at Geelong West. And that win, of course, if it stays like that, would lift the Young Lions off the bottom of the table. Everyone focusing on the title, but that prospect on the final day of the season of the Young Lions and Tanjong Pagar squaring off to avoid the wooden spoon. That's the fixture scheduled on the last day of the campaign. The Sailors' last game, incidentally, is a home game against Balestier, where they both share the Pishan Stadium. So if the Sailors are in title contention by then, they'll be facing a team they've already beaten 7-1 this season. Here's Zack Anderson. Have to be careful here, Hougang, when they play it out from the back, but the Sailors standing off them. And Zaplin, he manages to get it to Hafiz. Hafiz and Farhan Zulkifli have looked the two likeliest Hougang players to cause some problems. There's been another goal in the SPL in our quadruple header night this Tuesday. I can tell you, Galing International taking the lead against Tanjong Pagar. Eagles 1, Jaguars 0 at our Tampines hub. Confirmation carry, Nadim's 19th minute goal has put the Young Lions in front against Tampines. Here's Farhan Zulkifli. And he will manage to retain possession for the Cheetahs, who, despite going behind early on, have not been overawed so far. Hafiz with the throw. Remember, if it wasn't for an offside flag, they may have won a penalty in a similar situation moments ago. That was a lovely touch from Charlie Mackle. Gets it back to Hafiz eventually. Hafiz, that's a lovely cross, but no one attacking it, and Hassan Sani plucks it out the air. So 3 of the 4 games tonight have had goals already. Only game that's goalless at the moment, Albirex Nagata and Balestier Kausa, but we know how strong the fitness freaks of Albirex Nagata can be in the second half. Just ask Hougang. A couple of match days back, Hougang goalless at the break and then went down 4-0 in the second stanza as the White Swans ran riot. Lionel Tan. And a Zaplin in some space. And a Zaplin, that kind of player who's so versatile. If they have to start chasing the game late, Hougang, he'll happily be running up and down the pitch trying to make it happen. I think Hafiz might be offside here. Flag stays down. Sharin Sabarin with the goal for Geylang. That's the score that's given Geylang the lead at Tanjong Pagar United. So as things stand, Young Lions are up to 7th and the Sailors are up to second. And remember, after tonight, there's just 5 games left in the season. Playing it long, just too much juice on that, which was unfortunate because they'd found a channel on that far side. And 25 minutes in, we'll be taking a hydration break very shortly. I should think the next break in play we'll see our match official, Mr. Lim Liang Yi, send the players over for a drink. Can the Sailors, as they've done before, by the way, they scored right before the drinks break against Balestier. Can they do the same thing here before there's a break in play? Zaifula. They've had 1 shot on target and scored, 3 shots off target so far. Here's Zaifula. Yamazaki, Zaifula. They never panic, the Sailors. Already Vidmar has got them playing very patient football. They're prepared to pass the team to death. Look at that from Gabriel Quack. He is in the groove, isn't he, Gabriel Quack? And if they bring Swandy on alongside Quack in the second half, you fear for Hougang. If their fitness levels don't hold up, Adam Swandy's capable of running riot. Here's confirmation of that Gailang international lead at Tampines Hub against Tanjong Pagar, Sharin Sabarin. So the big stories of the night so far on this quadruple header. As things stand, Young Lions up to 7th, Sailors up to 2nd. And if Balestier Khalsa were to get a goal, as things stand, the Sailors would be top, because in a 14-game season, I keep mentioning this, I make no apologies for it, because as tight as it is, goal difference in this case, in a 14-game season, really is worth an extra point. And the Sailors' goal difference now is really climbing. As it stands, their goal difference is plus 16. And to put that in context, Tampines now bound to plus 8 and Albrecht's plus 12. There's the goal in the 12th minute. What a free kick it was from Gabriel Quack. Ridwan had a go, but the pace and the bend on it was just too much. And Gabriel Quack's 3rd goal of the season is what separates the team here. And if you're a neutral, you've got to be pleased for Gabriel Quack, because there's no question he is working very hard under Aurelio Vidmar. For a team that had some very disappointing results early in the season, who can forget that opening day draw at Tanjong Pagar? And then, most worryingly of all, the way they were annihilated in the second half at our Tampines Hub against Tampines. But it's not how you start the season, sometimes it's how you finish it. And while Tampines are floundering, the team that they beat 4-0 will now, as it stands, climb above them in the table with just 5 games to play. So after a mercifully short drinks break, we are back to the action with Yamazaki, who's not had too much defending to do in truth, just that one brief scare when Hafiz got into the area and there was a penalty shout, but the linesman already had his flag up for offside. Here's Zaifula. To Akari. Akari back to Zaifula. To Jelly. Yamazaki. How many times in the last 2 weeks have we seen this patient build-up look like it's going nowhere, and then in an instant they split the defence wide open. Zaifula. Possession-wise, the Lion City Sailors over 60% possession in this one so far. Akari. That's Stipe Plazovac dropping very deep, as he tends to do. That's belted in by Zaifula. Reaches Hafiz Noor, gets it back to Zaifula, and Stipe Plazovac nearly got on the end of that. And that's what I mean about that patient build-up exploding into a goal-scoring opportunity out of nothing. And in the second phase, they've retained possession. Back to Tajeli. Chardin. Daniel Martins had a little look there, but couldn't dispossess the Sailors. Hafi Snore. Tajeli might have a poke here. Well, it was a shot or a cross, and it didn't really work out as either. Yamazaki. Chardin. It's a good ball down that right-hand side. Cross from Akari. Oh, confusion in the Hougang defence. They were rather fortunate. That was a miscued clearance that's just dribbled into the hands of Ridwan. Well, I'm trying to cast my mind back to Hougang shot on target. I can't remember one. The Lion City Sailors have certainly had one. We know that because it was that effort from Gabriel Quack. There's a difference between the two teams. Anders Aplin. Are they playing themselves into trouble here? Charlie Michael gets it back to Zack Anderson. He gets it back to Ridwan, and he'll be pressured here by Plazibat. Ridwan can only pass it to a white shirt. That's a lovely turnover on that far side from Michael. Hougang take the throw and go back. Zack Anderson finds Anders Aplin. No pressure on Aplin, so they can try and play this out after stealing a couple of yards. Zack Anderson to his fellow short disciple, Lionel Tan. To Jelly. Yamazaki. Chardin, the string puller in midfield. Nice flick over the top, looking for Akari, who tried to improvise and keep it in. Just couldn't quite control that header. So we're past the half-hour mark. Goals in 3 of tonight's games. If you're just joining us, Geylang leading Tanjung Pagar by a goal to nil. Young Lions leading Tampines Rovers by a goal to nil. Goalless between Albirex and Balestier. And of course here, Gabriel Quack's sumptuous 12th minute goal is the difference between the two teams. Here's Stipe Plaza, but with space in front of him and support. Spreads it out wide. And Heikel has a look and gets it back to Plazabat. Well, there's something you don't see every day. Stipe Plazabat with a goal at his mercy. Skews it wide on the edge of the 6-yard box. That really should be 2-0. Lovely work from Saifullah. Plazibat had the option. He was in acres of space, Heikel. Got it back across to Plazibat, and I think he was expecting Heikel to go for goal. It caught him unawares, and they can't double the lead. Zack Anderson as the Hougang hauls over on that far side. You can see the flags fluttering, just to confirm to those of you wondering, they're outside the stadium. Fans not permitted inside the ground as part of safe distancing. Naikudin with the throw for the Sailors. Up until recently, they've been known as the side that came on strong in the second half. Remember when they beat the Young Lions 5-0, all 5 goals came in the second stanza. They came from 2 down to level it up with Albirex before going down to a late goal and losing that one 3-2. And they equalised in the second half against Hougang in that 1-1 draw that the teams played out at Bishan 2 match days back. Nice play from Anders Aplin. He finds Hafiz. Hafiz trying to get it through to Daniel Martins. Daniel Martins needs help here. They went through the back of him though, and Tajeli will concede the free kick, which they take quickly, but the referee wants it back. And now there's an injury, and is this an injury to Stipe Plazibat? Well, back live pictures now, and Stipe Plazibat is down injured in the centre circle. Let's have a look at Stipe Plazibat if we can, right in the centre circle. And that, if that's a hamstring, that's a problem. Well, there's no immediate cause for concern, but he's tugging on that hamstring. It's every footballer's worst nightmare, because a hamstring injury with just 18 days of the season to go does not bode well. And although they lead here, is this potentially a turning point in the title race? There doesn't appear to be immediate concern. I'm looking down on the touchline, and the Sailor subs are warming up. And what's the situation here? Is he going to be okay, Stipe Plazibat? He's going to have to come off, I think. Is he signaling to Aurelio Vidmar that he's done? And if he's got a hamstring injury, this could be a disaster for the Sailors. No immediate confirmation whether he's coming off, but you do not mess around with a hamstring, and he does not look like a happy camper. Now, are any Sailors stripping off? Adam Swandy's obviously an option. He's putting, I think, some kind of bandaging on his hamstring or his thigh. So whether it's a thigh muscle or a hamstring, maybe he is going to try and continue, but that's a concern. Those kind of injuries, more often than not, when a player tries to play in, and I don't want to tempt fate, you see him succumbing eventually, and I don't think they're taking any chances, because Adam Swandy is stripped off and ready for action. Meanwhile, the free kick comes in, and Hassan Sunny takes it off of Zack Anderson's head. So at the moment, well, the Sailors were down to 10. Stipe Plazibat's back on now and seemingly jogging okay, just had a camera shot. So he's going to continue by the looks of things, but Adam Swandy is stripped off and ready to come on if required. And that's not a bad substitution to have to make. As I speak, Swandy's putting his bib back on, so maybe it was a false alarm. Sailors fans can breathe easily again, because the Sailors title surge without Stipe Plazibat, even though they've got a stack of talent in their ranks, is a very different story. Remember, they said goodbye to Andy Pangeli during the COVID break and brought in Stipe Plazibat as his replacement. And so far, Plazibat's been scoring goals for fun on 9 for the Sailors, 14 for the season, because of course he got 5 for Hougang before COVID struck the season down. Still no other goals to tell you about around the other grounds. Here come Sailors again. That attempt at a cross is blocked by Naikudin. Chardin. Just looking down to the dugout again, and there's movement once more. Adam Swandy is coming on, so Stipe Plazibat, and I can see him. I don't know if you can pick him up there in the background. Stipe Plazibat is in trouble here. Now, are we seeing a turning point in the Sailors season? Adam Swandy is by no means an inconsiderable replacement. He's been scoring goals off the bench regularly, but I don't think he expected to be coming on to this one before half-time. And with what looks a hamstring or a thigh injury, Stipe Plazibat is only lasting 38 minutes here. He's not been involved, in truth, in the play too much. He's been missed one very good opportunity, and that's it. And Stipe Plazibat's night is over, and we'll endeavour to get our floor manager to try and find out the extent of the injury and whether it's a thigh or a hamstring. But with just 18 days of the season to go, my oh my. Well, I could say with a fair amount of confidence that injury to Stipe Plazibat, as he's replaced by Adam Swandy 39 minutes in, is arguably the most significant development of the night so far. And I say that knowing that the Young Lions lead Tampines. Here's Chardin. Well, how are they going to do WS without Stipe, the Sailors? He's been an integral part of their free scoring form, and it's now time for some of the younger Singapore talents to maybe light up for the Sailors, to steer them through these stormy waters to pick up the 3 points here, and they can assess just how bad Plazibat is. I can tell you he's not going straight to the dressing room yet. He's got his face mask on, Stipe Plazibat. I'm sure with the expert medical care that the Sailors are employing, he'll have the very best of medical attention. We'll do our best during half-time to find out whether it's a hamstring or a thigh. If it's a hamstring, fear the worst. And he's currently being treated down by the dugouts. Of course, it comes at a time where their next game is against title contenders Albirex as well. And the turnaround time is only 5 days between now and then, when they take on Albirex at the weekend. So that is almost, I think, shocked everyone here on a night when there was always going to be twists and turns, and in the next 18 days, as you follow the conclusion of the 2020 AIA Singapore Premier League title race, there are bound to be many to come right the way through, I would argue, until the final day on December the 5th. But they have got the lead here, and they've looked in control for the most part, but they're without their talismanic striker now, as Chardin's over this free kick. Can they double the lead without Stipe? Zack Anderson, with no Stipe challenging, gets it away, only as far as Hafiz, though. Hafiz gets it back to Akari, whose effort is blocked, and he's chased down by Charlie Michael. Far handle Kifley. Oh, he's had it pinched by Tajeli, and that could be the first yellow card, maybe. Daniel Martin's just having a little grab out, and the referee does want to have a chat with him. I'm not sure the card's going to come out, but he wants to have a chat. Now, what do you think? Is this a yellow card? You've certainly seen those kind of efforts given yellow cards for. Not this time, though. Saifullah. To Akari. Just like that, the actions come thick and fast. We're inside the final 4 minutes here of a first half that so far has been defined by two incidents. The Gabriel Quack goal after 12 minutes, and Stipe Plazibat leaving the field 4 minutes ago with what looks like a hamstring or thigh problem. With only 18 days of the season to go and only 5 days till they take on Albirex in what will be a top-of-the-table clash. What's their response going to be to losing Plazibat? Akari at the cross along the edge of the 6-yard box. And they will have a... And a Zaplin deflecting that one behind. Around the grounds quickly at Geelong West. Young Lions still leading Tampines by a goal to nil. Our Tampines hub, Geylang still leading Tanjung Pagar by a goal to nil. Goalless at Geelong East between Albirex and Balestier. And here, can the Sailors double their lead just before the break? Because if you're Clement Teo, 1-0 down, but with the loss of Plazibat for your opponents, it makes the team talk manageable. 2-0 down, and they really do have a mountain to climb. It will be Chardin, and you can be assured that Yamazaki will be trying to get on the end of this. Chardin, headed in! And all of a sudden the scramble and the rebound, and it stays out. Goodness knows how. Well, Ridwan got just enough on that to keep it out, and it looks certain to be bundled in on the rebound. But Hougang survive. Just the Lion City Sailors' second shot on target, and it was a very innocuous looking header, and it came in. There was hardly any pace on it, but Ridwan almost looked blindsided. It came in from Adam Swandy, and Ridwan reacted, and the follow-up from Heikel was blocked, and they somehow got it away. Charlie Michael, the Cheetahs survive a real scare on half-time. But they could be in danger here. It's 3-on-3, white shirts pouring forward. Swandy waits in the middle. It comes out to Swandy, and he runs into the brick wall that is Zack Anderson. Inside the final 60 seconds of the first 45 we'll go. I'd imagine with Plazibat's injury, there'll probably be 2 minutes added on at the end of this first half minimum. Saifullah. Played back by Tajeli. Hassan Sunny, who hasn't had much to do. Just one smart piece of play when he came out off his line. Zack Anderson gets an important header to that because Gabriel Quack was lurking in behind. Here's Adam Swandy. Oh, just too much on that for the despairing lunge of Heikel. And that should be enough to see Hougang through to half-time, just trailing by 1. Well, no goal fest in the first half around the grounds in the AIA Singapore Premier League. Just A goal in 3 games and a scoreless first half, but the looks of things at Geelong East. But the big stories so far tonight on our first quadruple header of the season. As it stands, the Sailors go second. As it stands, the Lions climb off the bottom of the table, and we await to see the extent of Stipe Plazimat's injury. Two minutes to be added on, so there may still be time for the Sailors to come up with one more chance here. They've limited Hougang to scraps moving forward, and they have looked like by far the most likeliest to get the second goal of the game. Here's Tajeli. Tajeli gets it back to Hafi Snor. Hafi Snor with a teasing cross, but Zack Anderson with no height of Plazimat up there. Their aerial bombardment without Yamazaki forward is going to be much tougher. There's a free kick, and Daniel Martins is going to go into the book, and that's been coming. First yellow card of the game, and for all we were critical of all the yellow cards the last time we covered a Hougang game here on Thursday, Lim Liang Yi has refereed this game very well indeed, and he's given Daniel Martins every chance, and that's the second foul in the middle of the pitch, and the yellow card I think is justified on that occasion. So this will be the last chance of the opening stanza. Taken short. Chardin gets it back, and the Lion City Sailors putting the cue in the rack and looking to get into half-time. There was no thought of throwing that into the area with no Plazimat out there waiting. Here's Chardin. Gabriel Quack. Clement Teo, you can see the bottom of your screen with his arms out. I think he's wondering what his players are doing. They're standing off him. Happy Snore. Adam Swandy leaves it. Akari gets the cross in, and Ridwan can gobble that up. And that should just about be that then. So a first half that's seen the Sailors score again. Inside a quarter of an hour, Gabriel Quack's sumptuous free kick. But the big talking point has to be Stipe Plazimat's injury 7 minutes before half-time. The Sailors struggling since he departed in terms of having to rethink their game plan. Aurelio Vidmar can get them into the dressing rooms now. I can see Stipe Plazimat beneath me, hobbling off under his own steam though. He doesn't seem to be in that much discomfort, but his thigh is very firmly wrapped up. There's the man of the moment though with that free kick goal, Gabriel Quack. That's the difference between the two teams at the break. Half-time here at the Hougang Stadium. Cheetahs 0, Sailors 1. The Sailors going second tonight as it stands. Stay with us. You won't miss a kick in the second half. Live on Singtel Star Hub, the Singapore Premier League social media channels, One Play Sports, and everyone watching around the world. Welcome back live to Hougang Stadium. Gabriel Quack's 12th minute free kick. The difference between the two teams at the break. But the other big story, of course, Stipe Plazibat going off injured. I've got our intrepid floor manager, Mr. Navin Nambier, out there trying to find out what's happening with Stipe Plazibat's injury. This was the goal in the 12th minute. Well, that wasn't the goal in the 12th minute. That was an effort before that from Shardan that skied over the bar. That was inside the first 10 minutes. Saifullah with a probing ball that Stipe Plazibat just didn't manage to connect with. Ridwan a little bit static for me there. He was fortunate that he let it bounce and it ran through to him. At the other end, only one real moment of note. Look at the space that was afforded to Hafiz here and Hassan Sunny, and that's the sign of a great goalkeeper. Hardly anything to do in the first half. When he had to do something, he did it very alertly. Good improvisation from Fabri and Kwok. And Hafiz, in hindsight, might have done a bit better. Let's not overlook the part played by Afik Noor in that as well. But Hassan Sunny, that's what every good goalkeeper does. Come out quickly, spread yourself big, and don't give away the penalty. Here's the goal. Gabriel Quack, absolute beauty. Ridwan, no chance. And that's his third goal of the season. The difference between the teams at half-time. Stipe Plazibat, before he did come off injured, also missed a golden opportunity. This was an opportunity that fell to Hafiz Noor on the edge of the area. Couldn't hit the target. Possession-wise, it's been around about 68% possession to the Sailors, and they have had pretty much everything when it comes to attempts on goal. Offside flag was up there, but that may well have been a penalty if the offside flag had stayed down. It was a good ball through from Fabian Kwok. He got there just before Akari did Hafiz, and if the flag stays down, that may well have been a penalty. And that will be the message, I'm sure, from Radio Vidmar. In a Singapore Premier League game, 1-0, you've never got the 3 points in the bag. Stipe Plazibat laying this one off to Haikal and getting it back to Stipe. That was the chance he had just before he went off injured. Good hustle in the middle from Saifullah. Plazibat, as he does so often, unselfish, just squares it to Haikal, and Haikal himself picked out Plazibat brilliantly. I don't think Plazibat was expecting that. And it was only minutes after that missed chance that he went down with the injury that would eventually see him go off the field of play. And without Plazibat, they nearly did double their lead. That fine header from Adam Swandy. Ridwan just scrambling enough to clear it from danger, but Swandy afforded far too much space in the penalty area. So that's the score at half-time. The Sailors lead by a goal to 0. Just the one shot on goal for Hougang. That effort from Hafiz that technically counts on target, but that's been the extent of them coming forward. One yellow card shown to Daniel Martins just before half-time. But it's been one-way traffic for the most part. Now let's check in around the grounds, the scores elsewhere, because we really are getting to the business end. 18 days left of the season, just 5 games to go after tonight. Geylang International lead Tanjung Pagar United, who as it stands are going to be bottom of the table tonight. Geylang International leading by Sabarin goal to 0. The Young Lions leading Tampines by a goal to 0. Khairi Nadim with another one to leave the Stags last fortnight in tatters. And Albrecht Dagata and Balestier Kausa, Albrecht's league leaders going in tonight, remember, are being held by Balestier Kausa. And just goes to show how much things can change when you get to the final stages of a season. A couple of scenarios for you. If Albrechts were to lose that game and Tampines go on to lose against the Young Lions, the Sailors would be top tonight. If Tampines lose and the Sailors win here, they will be second. As we see one more time, Gabriel Quack's 12th minute beauty. There's a difference between the two teams. The Sailors potentially on the brink of going second. If Albrechts were to go down against Balestier, the Lion City Sailors could even be top tonight, but they'll have to come back out in the second half without the injured Stipe Plazibat. It's all happening from now until the 5th of December, the closing stages of the AIA 2020 Singapore Premier League season. Hougang United 0, the Lion City Sailors 1 at the break here. Welcome back live to the Hougang Stadium. At the break, the Lion City Sailors lead by a fantastic Gabriel Quack free kick to nil, but that only tells half the story. Stipe Plazamat, who's by quite some distance the leading goal scorer in the AIA Singapore Premier League with 14, 9 of them scored for the Sailors, 5 of them for Hougang prior to COVID, is off. It looks like a hamstring or a thigh. We've got our intrepid reporter, Navin Nambier, pitchside trying to find out the extent of the injury. Any news we get, we will relay to you as soon as we can. But that's a story. The Sailors in front, but they've not got this game to bed yet. Remember, Hougang has Cheryl Anwar to call from off the bench if Clement Teo wants to go for it. And they have had a couple of moments moving forward. Hafiz may well have won a penalty if not for an offside flag. So the Sailors will need to put this game away. Remember, these two teams met just 4 games ago when Hougang led in that one 1-0 at half-time before they were pegged back in the second half by the Sailors. Will the Cheetahs dish out a similar form of treatment to their opponents here tonight? Certainly, the fact that Stipe's involvement is over in this one can only encourage Hougang that they can get something from this game. And just getting confirmation from not Navin Nambier, but Nitin Nambier. We've got 2 great brothers on the team here tonight, confirming that it is a hamstring. So if that's a hamstring, 18 days left of the campaign, there has to be a huge question mark over Stipe Plazamat's involvement through the remainder of the season. One thing's for sure, it will take some kind of miracle for him to be lining up for the Sailors in their top-of-the-table clash against Albirex at the weekend. And as things stand, that will be first against second, because with Tampines losing at Geelong West to the Young Lions, the Sailors will go second tonight. Albirex Nagata, if they only pick up a point against Balestier, they will then just be 1 point in front of the Sailors with that top-of-the-table clash to come at the weekend. And don't miss it. You can catch that game as you can catch every AIA Singapore Premier League game live on Singtel Star Hub, the social media channels of the Singapore Premier League, One Play Sports and our associated partners around the world. So the Sailors back out first, just trying to see if there's been any other changes at half-time. Already Vidmar did make a few changes at half-time in the Tanjung Pagar game, but the scenario and the scoreline here is very different. And furthermore, they have, of course, already had to make one change with Plazamat replaced by Adam Swandy, who came off the bench to score a brace in the game against Tanjung Pagar on Friday night. Gabriel Quack still smiles, and well, he may be. He's arguably, if you take Plazamat out of the equation, the form player in the Singapore Premier League, and he's all smiles after scoring his 3rd goal of the season tonight, which so far is the difference between the 2 teams. So this is a big 45 minutes in the context of the season. Just 5 games to go after tonight. The table at the top is looking very congested, as I can see below. There are going to be some changes from Hougang. And Daniel Martins, who's on a yellow, he is being replaced by Justin Hui. And I think there was another change as well, was there? Or just the one change? I think it might have been just the one change. We'll get confirmation for you in a moment. I'm just trying to cast my eye out there to see if there's any other unfamiliar shirts. Certainly Justin Hui is on. That was the one change that's confirmed. So Justin Hui for Daniel Martins. Stand by your beds. It's the second half from Hougang. The Cheetahs of Hougang in the orange and black, left to right. The Sailors right to left in the white and blue. And just confirmation, it was just that one change at half-time. Straight away, Hougang on the offensive, and that came out to Fabian Kwok, who bought a ticket to the lottery outside the edge of the area, and it drifts wide. So Yamazaki. For the most part, the Sailors have had this one under control, but they want a second goal. Plenty of options on the bench for them still, even though Adam Swandy has been utilised already, as you get confirmation of Hougang's change there. Still no Cheryl Anwar. Cheryl Ishak, remember, who's been out of the matchday squad for the last couple of games. He's another scoring option on the bench for the Sailors in this second half, as Hafiz Noor takes the ball in stride. Adam Swandy waits in the middle. Gabriel Quack waits in the middle. Here's Akari. Akari looking for Gabriel Quack, and he very nearly got on the end of it. Vidwan again riding his luck as he manages to gather. I say Ridwan riding his luck. I think his defence didn't do him any favours there. Yeah, Sharyl Ishak, one of a number of Lion City Sailors that have scored this season. Amongst the goals has been Saifullah, Sharyl Ishak, Adam Swandy, Song Il Yong, of course, who's out injured tonight. Gabriel Kwak is now on to 3 goals for the season. Shardam with just the 1 goal this season. They've seen Tajeli score, Yamazaki score as well. And of course Plazibat, but will Plazibat be playing, let alone scoring again for the Sailors this season after that injury? Taking his time, Saifullah. Hougang are going to do something here. They're still in this as a contest in terms of the scoreline, but the game plan isn't creating chances and they're being passed to death at times by this expansive Sailors unit. Second half's underway at all the grounds apart from Geelong East. They're still not underway yet at Geelong East. Albrecht nil, Bannister nil at half-time there. Oh, that's a lovely passenger play. Look at that, ducking and weaving, looking for the head of Haikul, but Ridwan does well. Lots of movement amongst the Lion City Sailors substitutes. I get the impression another change from Aurelia Vidmar might not be too far away. Zack Anderson, that ball span a little bit wickedly in front of him, but he dealt with it okay. Here's Justin Hui's first chance to get an involvement, but Lionel Tan's clearance doesn't reach him, and he does well, Justin Hui, to come back and affect that. Here's Fabian Kwok. Fabian Kwok sends that long, and he might get a bit of luck here, but Tajeli eliminates the threat of Hafiz very efficiently indeed. And as Aplin, I wonder if we'll see him get a little bit more further forward. He scored an absolute stunning goal in that win against the Young Lions. And as Aplin, arguably the goal of the game, an individual effort where he took the ball from just inside his own half and then hammered a shot home from the edge of the area. There's Farhan Zulkifli over on that far side, who's worked very hard. He leaves the honours of taking the throw to Hafiz. Here is Hafiz. That cross comes in. It's looking for Charlie Michael, and it needed a very authoritative belt away from the back line of the Sailors. They come up with it again, though. Here's Afiq Noor. Afiq Noor finds a man, and that man is Justin Hui. But he tried to play in Charlie Michael, and he couldn't quite get there. Lionel Tan. That's a very assured header back to his keeper by Akari. Naikudin. Yamazaki. They just look in control so much in this game, the Sailors, don't they? A second goal, and I don't think there's any way back for Hougang, but while it's 1-0, there's always a danger. Stipe Plazibat just coming back to sit with his teammates on the bench. He's back into... Oh, that's a lovely ball through. Look at Swandy go. Can he get there? Yes, he can. But it just went out of play before he managed to try and square it with Gabriel Kwak and Haikul waiting. Yes, he's out of his kit and now just on the bench with his teammates, and doesn't appear to have that hamstring iced anymore, which I suppose you could take as a bit of a positive from Stipe Plazibat, but confirmed if you are just joining us for the second half, it is a hamstring injury that Stipe Plazibat has. Hafiz. Good hustle from Hafiz. Gets it back to Fabian Kwok. What's his option? Nowhere to go forward, has to go back to Zack Anderson. Anderson finds his short-shorted brother. Lionel Tan. Look at Zack Anderson probing forward here. This is what they've got to do. Try and probe and ask questions of the Sailors' defence. And when they ask a question, Haikul pops up with the foul on Justin Hui to give them a free kick. Justin Hui takes it. He's got Hafiz over there. He's managed to find a bit of space. Hafiz into the area. Charlie Michael, who's noticeably playing as the centre forward in this second half by the look of it. Unable to get on the end of it. Yeah, I think that change with Martins, who himself was probably playing the most further forward of at times a six-man midfield in the first half, has now been replaced tactically in that role by Michael. Here's Adam Swandy. Swandy to Heikel. Oh, Heikel's beat his man. He's into the area here. Heikel, can he get the cross away? Along the ground it goes. Zack Anderson should be able to deal with that, but they get in a real muddle. And eventually Fabian Kwok has to get it back to Anders Aplin. But that was not convincing defending by the Cheetahs. Saifullah for the mile out. Oh, it's just going wide. So we're 5 minutes in here. I'd like to get an update if I can. I don't believe the second halves have commenced at Geelong East and at our Tampines hub. I'm not sure whether there's a lightning warning in effect, but the two games, Albirex Nagata and Gelling International, don't believe have restarted. I can tell you one game that has restarted is at Geelong West, where Jordan Webb, with his 99th goal in Singapore football, has levelled it up for Tampines Rovers. So we are back underway, just to confirm, at all 4 grounds, and we've already had a goal with Jordan Webb levelling it up for Tampines, and that is significant because it means that if they at least get a point there, Tampines, the Sailors won't be able to go second tonight. And I suppose from a Tampines point of view, just to show how quickly things can change, if Albirex don't get a goal in the second half against Balestier and Tampines come from behind and win there, the Stags will still be top again tonight. Here's Heikel. We'll keep an eye on all the scores as they come in around the grounds for you. Here it's still the Sailors 1, Hougang 0. Adam Swandy, that's a delightful ball. Look at the space they've got on that far side. It's deflected behind for the first quarter of the second half, just the third one of the match, and all 3 of them have gone to the Lion City Sailors. Jordan Webb, goal number 99 in Singapore football for the Canadian. Can he make it the 100 up and steer the Stags to victory in a come-from-behind fashion against the Young Lions, who, remember, went very quiet in the second half here on Thursday against Hougang. Competitive in the first half, they capitulated in the second. 1-1 at half-time, they lost 4-1. Chardin. They've made a habit of scoring from set pieces over recent weeks. Can they get another one here to put this game to bed? Because just like that, we're already almost 10 minutes into the second half. Chardin takes it short, comes away with it into the area. He goes, that's going to be a penalty, surely. Nothing doing. But I want to see the replay. In the referee's defence, there wasn't that aggressive an appeal from Tampines Rovers. On the monitor here, up in the stands as I am, there wasn't much of an appeal from the Lion City Sailors. Apologies, I had Tampines Rovers on my mind there. Have a look at this. He was definitely grabbing onto the shirt or the shorts, and there was a question asked by Saifullah, but nothing doing. Oh, that's good hustle from Fabian Kwok, but after that he's given it straight to a Lion City Sailor. That Lion City Sailor here is Heikel. Heikel through to Adam Swandy. Anders Aplin's got work to do here. He can't get the ball off Hafi Snor. Hafi Snor, that's deflected. It might be another corner, is it? No, behind for a goal kick. Yes, apologies there. Claiming that Tampines Rovers weren't appealing for a penalty. They wouldn't have been appealing for a penalty here. It just goes to show when you're trying to keep your eye across all 4 games. The action coming thick and fast in the AIA Singapore Premier League. Gelling International leading Tanjung Pagar by a goal to 0. Young Lions and Tampines Rovers 1 each 9 minutes into the second half, and Albirex Nagata and Balestier Kausa goalless. That was well watched by Akari, out for a throw to Hougang. Aurelio Vidmar was just out from his dugout momentarily there. He doesn't look best pleased, does he? They certainly do look a slightly different proposition without Stipe Plazibat. Gabriel Kwak, of course, has got used to playing through the middle when Plazibat's gone off late in games as a tactical rather than an injury situation, as that's just beyond the despairing run of Nasrul. Yamazaki. Not quite the same energy in this second half as we had from the Sailors in the first. They're still dominating, still enjoying by far the lion's share of possession. But they need to find a second goal from somewhere to put this one to bed. Here's Naikudin. Saifullah. Chardin. Over the top from Chardin. That's an ambitious looking ball, and that was an important header from Hafiz, but it's still come to the Sailors. They're streaming forward now! And Hafiz Noor has surely put the game to bed. Well, as Hafiz made an important intervention, they couldn't stop them on the second phase. And Hafiz Noor, who's been very much on the comeback trail for the Lion City Sailors, has got a very important goal here because it will surely confirm the points. Hafiz Noor's first goal of the season, add him to the list, the ever-growing list of Sailors that have scored this campaign. And with a 2-goal cushion, surely there's no way back for Hougang now. Hougang United 0, the Lion City Sailors 2. Well, Hafiz Noor given his first start for quite some time here tonight, and he's taken the opportunity with both hands. So he looked lively in the first half, and he reacted very quickly there to put this game surely beyond Hougang's reach. They certainly need to score next if they're going to get anything out of this game now. And at the moment, the message from the Sailors will be no Plazibat, no problem. I wonder if that will apply, though, if Plazibat's injured for the game at Bishan against Albirex at the weekend. Zack Anderson over the top, looking for Charlie Michael, who's not really been able to get involved in this second half. Now he's playing in a more advanced role. Clement Teo. Well, if Shawal Anwar's anywhere near fit, they surely have to give him a chance to make a difference here soon. He's not moved. There's no movement on the substitutes bench at the moment. There's plenty of movement from the Lion City Sailors. None of the Hougang subs are warming up. Hassan Sunny, if he manages to keep a clean sheet tonight, it would be their first in 4 games, having conceded a goal in that 1-1 draw against Hougang, match day 6, conceding 1 against Banastir when they won 7-1 match day 7, and conceding 1 against Tanjung when they won 6-1 in match day 8. But of course, those last 2 games, it was Rudy Kairilla between the sticks, deputising for Hassan Sunny, who overcame a finger injury to reclaim his place in the starting lineup tonight. Hafiz Noor looks hungry now, just like Gabriel Quack did in the first half. Here is Gabriel Quack. Gabriel Quack, oh, that's a lovely ball through. Flag stays down, Zakari. Just narrow an angle, but he gets it back, and it comes back to Gabriel Quack. Look at his close control here inside the area, and he gets a cross in, and Zaplin gets it away, only to the edge of the area. When Naikudin waits, and eventually it breaks down, but again, Gabriel Quack looking so lively. Some delay while they get the ball back here. Ridwan belts it across, where Hafiz is waiting to take. Yeah, they made that one change at half-time, didn't they, Hougang? Justin Hui replacing Daniel Martins, but there's no movement coming from them at the moment as Lionel Tan probes forward. Fabian Kwok, too much on that. He's looking for Anders Zaplin, who's starting to get a little bit further forward now, isn't he, Anders Zaplin? But he was never going to be able to deal with that. And Clement Teo being very vocal at the edge of his technical area. Still no breakthrough for Albirex against Banastir. Tampines have levelled it up against the Young Lions through Jordan Webb's 99th goal in Singapore football, but they haven't managed to go in front just yet. Fabian Kwok.
Nice bit of play by Naikudin. Over the top, looking for the run of Gabriel Quack. And Lionel Tan showing good strength on the ball. Gets it to Fabian Kwok. Anders Aplin. Oh, look at that. They both hesitated. And he's capitalised Heikel here. Heikel to the byline, squares it. Fabian Kwok gets a touch and he'll let that drift out for a corner. Yeah, you get the impression the Sailors could turn on the turbos here, even without Stipe Plazivat. They've still got Sharon Ishak to come off the bench if he's required. Easton Shafiq, I'm sure, will be chomping at the bit to get another opportunity. They tend to employ Abdul as a second-half defensive substitute. And again, Yamazaki up from the back. Tale as old as time. Yamazaki trying to challenge for a Chardin corner. They've taken the last couple of corners short. Back to Chardin on the edge of the area. That was a very well-timed slide from Farhan Zulkifli. It had to be. But they let that ball drift out for a throw to the Sailors. They don't like that decision, Hougang. Naikudin to Swandy. Look at that, 11 shots to 2 in the Sailors' favour. Interestingly, 3 of the shots have been on target. They scored with 2 of them. Here's Adam Swandy. Charlie Michael did well, but yes, they're coming out on top of all the 50-50s as well, the Sailors. Saifullah does well. There's a swagger, there's a confidence about them, even without Plazivat. They're looking at a different class here to Hougang at the moment. Oh, look at that from Gabriel Quack. Look at this, the flag's up. What a shame, it wouldn't have counted. But my word, they can break at pace. Out of nowhere, Akari was close to converting what would have been a goal of the season contender after more good work and deft touches from Gabriel Quack. Just look at this. Clearly offside, in fairness. Good decision by the assistant referee, but the sharp passing, quick passing movement is just so impressive from the Lion City Sailors. That's some mouth-watering clash now that lies ahead at the weekend against Albirex Niigata. That's scheduled for Sunday the 22nd. 5:30 kickoff Singapore time. That's GMT +8. Still no breakthrough for Albirex against Balestier. In fact, at the moment, this is probably the only one of the 4 games that you say the points are secure. Young Lions and Tampines 1 each. 0-0 Albirex Balestier. Geylang leading Tanjung Pagar 1-0, but they've got Lewis Jr. He can get a goal from nothing of Tanjung Pagar, so that one's not in the books just yet. But Hougang haven't shown enough to suggest they're capable of getting more than a goal here against a very impressive Lion City Sailors. Hassan Sunny. Hasn't much to do in the second half. Didn't have much to do in the first either, but everything he has had to do, he's done quite brilliantly. Chardin. Back to Yamazaki. I think if a third goal went in here, you'd be seeing already a Vidmar starting to put some players in cotton wool ahead of Sunday's game. He's impressed, hasn't he? Justin Hui, the substitute. And as I say that, he passes the ball straight to Tajeli, the old commentator's curse. Gabriel Quack. Chardin. Oh, that's a lovely ball through. They're finding so much space and time now. They're standing off from a mile. Cross the face. Decent save. And then a frantic clearance from Anders Aplin, just as it looked like Heikel was going to make it 3. More good work from Akari down the right, across the edge of the 6-yard box, and that's a good save from Ridwan. Looked for all the world that Heikel was going to make it 3-0. That 57th minute goal from Hafiz Noor really surely is giving Hougang too much to do here. Sailors, as it stands as well, are going to extend their goal difference advantage over the rest of the pack. And the way this league's going, who would bet against it going down to goal difference on the final day? I think it's almost certain to go to the final day, isn't it? And here comes Farhan Zulkifli. Does well to get that in, Farhan Zulkifli. But Hassan Sunny, under no pressure from Justin Hui, can pluck it out the air. Gabriel Quack gets it back to Saifullah. If you are just joining us, by the way, and wondering where Stipe Plazibat is, started this game but went off 7 minutes before half-time with what's been confirmed as a hamstring injury. Has to be a major doubt for the game on Sunday against Albirex, and even a major doubt for the rest of the season with only 18 days and 5 games to go after tonight. Here's Haikal. Saifullah, optimistic pass that Zack Anderson cuts out well. Albirex have found the breakthrough against Balestier Khalsa. Albirex 1, Balestier Khalsa 0. Looks like the White Swans are staying top tonight. Unless Balestier Khalsa can find something. Is this number 3 on the way? Hafiz Noor quite couldn't get there. Anders Aplin to the rescue. But again, they cough up possession almost instantly. Shardan's there, gets it to Haikal. Haikal back to Swandy. Swandy finds Gabriel Quack on the twist and the turn. His shot's deflected. And Anders Aplin should be able to get this away. Yes, that's a priceless goal for Albirex Niigata, and it's come with 25 minutes to go. It means that they will be, if the results stay as they are, maintaining their 3-point lead at the top of the table tonight. You can't see the Lion City Sailors relinquishing anything here. Tampines have yet to prove they can come from behind to get the 3 points at Geelong West against the Young Lions, with that game locked at 1 apiece. But we've now had goals in all 4 of tonight's AIA Singapore Premier League matches on this quadruple header. Naikudin back to Yamazaki. Adam Swandy. Well, it might have taken him time already of Vidmar to imprint his footballing philosophy onto these Sailors, but he's doing it now all right. They are looking so impressive. Anders Aplin with no real choice but to chest that behind for a corner. Change coming for the Sailors. And it's going to be Haikal, who so nearly made it 3-0 moments ago. And he will be replaced by Arshad. Arshad Shamim is the man to come on as the Sailors flex their strength and depth once more. That's their second change of the game after Adam Swandy replaced Stipe Plazibat in the 38th minute. Corner count, 5-0 in the Lion City Sailors' favour, and they think this one runs at Hafiz Noor. That could be dangerous. Lovely turn, Hafiz Noor! Would have been a cracker. Ridwan watched it well. They tried to break quickly here. But Hassan Sunny mops it up. Let's have a look at this again. Look at the turn here from Hafiz Noor. He knew that he was being closed down by Charlie Michael, took him out of play. And the effort in flight looked like it might really trouble Ridwan, but the Hougang stopper did well. Kamata with the goal for Albirex Niigata. As Albirex, if they can hold on to that, will definitely be top of the table tonight. But of course, it's still possible that the top 3 will all win after what was a shaky start for Tampines and a goal to start for Albirex. Here's the substitute, Arshad. Bit of a cul-de-sac there, but he manages to find support in Naikudin. Naikudin back to Yamazaki, controls that one well because it was struck at some pace. To Jetty drifting back, but he's got the confidence of going back to Hassan Sunny, whose distribution is so top draw. Is there a better keeper from open play with his feet than Hassan Sunny in Singapore? I don't think so. Anders Aplin, Adam Swandy losing out. Naikudin, that's intelligent football from Naikudin. All these players are brimming with confidence. Here's Gabriel Quack, options to the left of him, options to the right, but Gabriel Quack goes alone. And as they take the drinks break, it looks a matter of not if, but when Hougang concede a third. Tampines Rovers have come from behind to take the lead at Geelong West. It's now Young Lions 1, Tampines Rovers 2, and Gailing have doubled the lead at home to Tanjong Pagar United at our Tampines hub. That's the goal that opened the scoring in the 12th minute from Gabriel Quack, his third of the season. And despite losing Stipe Plazibat to injury before half-time, they doubled the advantage with Hafiz Noor's first of the season after great work from Chardin. The headed clearance from Hafiz fell to Gabriel Quack. The ball came in and Hafiz Noor was there to slide it home. Good work from Akari in the build-up as well as Gabriel Quack. And at the moment, it looks a question of how many Lion City Sailors will score rather than when will the Hougang comeback commence. Still no sign of Shawal Anwar warming up, but they are going to make a change after this drinks break, Hougang, with the Kyrgyzstani Maksat Dzakbiliev coming on. So Maksat Dili comes on for Hafiz. Yes. Kyrgyzstani Maksat Dzakbiliev on for Hafiz as Clementio makes his second substitution. Jordan Webb has now scored 100 goals in Singapore professional football. It's a Jordan Webb brace that has seen Tampines Rovers come from behind to lead the Young Lions by 2-1. Congratulations to Jordan Webb. That's a fantastic achievement, 100 goals in Singapore professional football. Here, the Lion City Sailors, what a 21st goal in the last 3 games. Arshad and just couldn't square the ball before Lionel Tan deflected it behind. There's confirmation. Jordan Webb brace. He scored in the 50th and 70th minute to see Tampines come from behind to lead the Young Lions by 2-1. And once again, the Young Lions showing frailty in the second half. Another corner. Credit to the Hougang Halls, locked outside the stadium due to COVID protocols. They're still making their voices heard. They support this team through thick and thin, and at the moment tonight, it's thin. A glance at the league table in a moment after that corner comes, and it's not dealt with very well. Flicked back in by Arshad, and now Hougang will manage to clear it. And Geylang, now 2 up, are looking likely to jump up from 6th to 4th at the end of tonight, as the league table's chopped and changed many a time over the course of the last hour and a half, and I'm sure it will do so more over the weekend when we move on to match day 10. Just 5 games to go after tonight. Here's Zack Anderson. Of course, with Tampines set maybe to pick up 3 points now for the first time in a couple of weeks, and the Lion City Sailors booked for 3 points here. Albrechts are the ones that are under a bit of pressure, only leading Balestier by 1-0, and with the likes of Zuzu and Hoshino in the ranks, and Kiki Krajcek, anything could happen with Balestier as Tampines know only too well. Here come the Sailors again. Lovely turn from Saifullah, and he just got something to it, Ridwan. That shot came through in slow motion. Goal kicks the call. I thought Ridwan got a touch, so did the players. Well, I'm a mile away, and I thought Ridwan got a touch. Let's have a look at the replay here. Did the keeper not touch this? Our referee, Mr. Lim Liang Yi, was determined that he didn't. Saifuda and all the Lion City Sailors players thought this was a save. But it looked to me that the keeper got a touch. Anyway, we move on. Good work from Justin Chui. Needs some support now, though. Now switch to this near side. Here's Farhan Zulkifli. Here's the substitute. Big brute of a man is Maksat Dzakbiliev. They wanted a foul throw there, I think, the Lion City Sailors bench. Didn't get it. They'll get a free kick, though, as Maksat. Oh, he's being shown a yellow card. He's only been on the pitch 60 seconds. Second yellow card of the game, and it comes to the Kyrgyzstani substitute. I feel a bit sorry for him there because he's been limited in his opportunities so far in the Singapore Premier League, and he really wants to try and impress, but maybe his youthful exuberance getting the better of him there, and the Sailors get a free kick. Yamazaki. No, Kudin didn't want that back. He wanted to get it back to Hassan Sani all along, and he's under a bit of pressure here from Afik Noor. And now they've let in Charlie Michael, and Charlie Michael's got support, and it's been skied over. What an opportunity through Nazrul. Well, the Lion City Sailors switching off at the back, and Nazrul simply has to score in the context of the game here. How many more chances like that are they going to get? Hassan Sani, far too casual with Chardin. Charlie Michael did well to get it to Nazrul, who shot was high wide and not very handsome. So into the final quarter of an hour we go. Round the grounds, Albrechts Nagata 1, Balestier Khalsa 0. Kamata with the goal for Albrechts. Geylang International 2, Tanjung United 0. As it stands, the Eagles will go up a couple of spots in the table tonight for East Farhan, doubling the lead from the first half as that one goes back to Ridwan. Young Lions 1, Tampines Rovers 2. 2 goals from Jordan Webb in the second half to bring up goals 99 and 100 in Singapore football after Karim Nadim had given the Young Lions the first half lead. And here Hougang trailing the Sailors by 2-0. Gabriel Quack's fine free kick in the first half. And the lead doubled by Hafiz Noor early in the second. There's another interesting cross, and Yamazaki, that's a high foot. And there was half-hearted appeals from Hougang, nothing too serious. But I do know that there's a cheetah on the deck behind the goal, and I'm assuming that's come as a result of the high foot from Yamazaki. The Sailors stop for no man, though. Gabriel Quack, as they continue to hustle forward. Hougang are playing with 10 men, with Farhan Zulkifli in agony behind the goal. Here comes Naikudin. I'd like to see the replay of that because it was a high foot in the area. With the ball up for grabs as Maksat Daspiliev's yellow card is confirmed. Shardan, only one goal this season for Shardan. Gets it out wide, and that's come all the way across. And Arshad put Maksat under a bit of pressure there. Well, he's still on the deck and receiving treatment, Farhan Zulkifli. I'll be interested to see what happened there. There was definitely a high foot in the clearance from the Lion City Sailors. Here's Zack Anderson. And a Zaplin, who's switched flanks once Maxit's been introduced. Afiq Noor over the top, and he's going to find Charlie Michael. Charlie Michael. Charlie Michael into the area, it's found support. Just twisting and turning, trying to make something happen here. And again, they've just not tested Hassan Sunny enough. And they could be in bother this time because Naikudin's away at the races. Gabriel Quack's in the middle. Naikudin might try and beat both men on his own here. Eventually he'll find support through Adam Swandy. Farhan Zulkifli's back onto the pitch. Yeah, that Hougang shot on target coming very early on in the game. Opportunity that went begging, that came the way of Hafiz. Arshad. Adam Swandy trying to get it back to him, and via a deflection he does just that. Arshad can get it back to Swandy if he wants, but Arshad cuts inside. It looks like he's tiring a little bit, Lionel Tan. Who wouldn't be tired trying to defend against the Sailors for the best part of 80 minutes? Here's Naikudin. And the Sailors now, I think, just wanting to avoid any more injuries after Stipe Plazimat's hamstring problem in the first half. To Jelly, Saifullah, here they go again. They're offside though, won't count, the flag's up. And Hafiz thought for a minute he'd got his second of the game, but the flag was up over on that far side. Well, Farhan Zulkifli, I think he's good playing. I wouldn't mind seeing that incident again. Apologies if we can see what happened there, because there was a high foot up in that penalty area. Have a look at this, and the cross came in from Charlie Michael. Now look at Yamazaki's foot here. Well, Yamazaki's foot is high, and you have seen them given. So Farhan Zulkifli, it didn't have much support from his teammates in terms of appealing, but he's got into the book for his complaining. It's an interesting passage of play, that. So that's now Farhan Zulkifli, Maksat, and Daniel Martins, who's now been subbed off in the book for Hougang. Yeah, confirmation, Farhan Zulkifli's in the book. More changes coming from the Lion City Sailors. Who's getting stripped off, ready for action? I can see Faisal. Bearing in mind, prior to the game on Friday, the Lion City Sailors hadn't won back-to-back games all season. Now they've won 3 on the spin, 9 points from a possible 9. So it was very important that Albrechts and Tampines both won tonight, and they have done so. So Albirex and Tampines will still be the top two, but the Sailors will keep on the heat behind them, and they'll have a chance to eat into Alberex's points advantage over them when the two teams meet at Bishan on Sunday. That really is a championship six-pointer, and of course, conversely, Tampines themselves will be hoping to take advantage of those two teams potentially taking points off each other. Is there a consolation in it for Hougang? That's one thing the Sailors haven't done of late. He's given a penalty. I was just about to say that's one thing that the Lion City Sailors haven't done of late. That's keep a clean sheet. And out of absolutely nowhere, Fai Salah, the substitute, has won a penalty. Well, there's muted protest from the Sailors. I think the protest might be a bit more extreme if this was a game at the moment being decided by one goal. There was a little bit of a tug on the shirt. Well, it was the most delicate of pushes. There were bodies going all over the place. But the referee, Lim Liang Yi, has gone to the spot, so Hougang will have a chance to keep up the one stat that the Lion City Sailors don't like of late, and that's the fact they've not kept a clean sheet in 3 games. It could be that they're about not to keep a clean sheet in 4. Tajeli still protests. It's certainly a weak penalty. Not maybe as outrageous as some penalties we've seen given this season, but it was certainly very soft. Lim Liang Yi didn't hesitate, did he? So, Charlie Michael, who scored an exquisite free kick against the Young Lions to steer the Cheetahs to victory on Thursday, can now make it 2 in 2 games. His first goal in Singapore football came on Thursday, but he's got to get past Singapore's #1, Hassan Sunny. It's surely only going to be a consolation here, but the Sailors still can't keep a clean sheet if Charlie Michael can beat Hassan Sunny, and he sends him the wrong way. It's 2 goals in 2 games for Charlie Michael. The Englishman is finding his scoring form after a very weak penalty conceded by the Sailors. And Hassan Sunny's clean sheet goes up in smoke with just 60 seconds of the 4 minutes to be added on to play. Well, it's not going to count for much in the context of the final scoreline here in terms of who gets the 3 points, but another debatable penalty for everyone at home to argue over amongst their friends. The main takeaway from tonight, of course, is the top 3 stay as they are. Geylang look like they're going to move into 4th. And, of course, the Young Lions will stay bottom, having briefly got off the bottom when they led at half-time against Tampines Rovers. And we await further updates on the extent of Stipe Plazibat's injury. I'm told, actually, the next guest on the SPL show with Duncan Elias will be Aurelio Vidmar and one of the members of the playing squad from the Lion City Sailors. That show, I understand, is being recorded later this week, so stay tuned to the social media channels of the Singapore Premier League and their partners at One Play Sports to get the latest news on what's happening with Stipe Plazibat's injury. We are obviously now going to play more than 4 minutes of time added on, because after Charlie Michael's 93rd minute penalty, the Sailors look like they're going to finish here with 10 men as Akari hobbles off over on that far side, but there's surely not enough time left there to Hougang to get another, let alone 2 more. Lim Liang Yi's already having a look at his watch. I think we'll just see one more open passage of players. Tajeli tries to find Sharilishek, who's not really had much of a chance to impress since his late introduction, but I wonder, just wonder whether he'll be the option to replace Stipe Plazibat if the Croatian can't play on Sunday, or whether they'll go with Kwak and Swandy up front. That's a terrifying thought for the Albirex defence. Akari's miraculously recovered to get back into the action. But I think the referee's going to play just a couple more seconds here. They're into the area again, though. They can't get another one, can they? No, they can't. And that will be that. Lim Liang Yi blows for full time. Bit of drama at the end with Hougang getting their consolation from the penalty spot with Charlie Michael second in 2 games. But the story of this match is more free-flowing, free-scoring football for the connoisseurs of the Lion City Sailors. They've won 3 on the spin. They may only stay 3rd, but they're up in the ante game after game, with Albirex Nagata getting a 2-0 win by the looks of things against Balestier, and Tampines coming from behind to beat the Young Lions. Aurelio Vidmar will be happy with this night's work. Gabriel Kwak's 3rd of the season, an exquisite free kick in the 12th minute. Happy Snore with his first of the season, as he showed real signs that he's returning to top form with his first start for a while. And then they added a third after Gabriel Quack was unlucky not to bag his second. It was Chardin who reacted quickest with his head to get the ball past Ridwan to put the game to bed. Deep into injury time, there was a weakish looking penalty won by the substitute Fire Salah that was converted by the Englishman Charlie Michael. But it's job done for the Sailors. They've won 3 in a row and they're still snapping away at the heels of Albirex Niigata and Tampines Rovers, who still occupy the top 2 places in what's becoming a thrilling AIA Singapore Premier League season 2020. Match day 9 is in the books. Match day 10 comes up on Saturday and Sunday with just 18 nights to go. On December the 5th we crown our champions, and we're still no closer to knowing just who it will be. It's finished here. Hougang United 1, the Lion City Sailors 3. Well, this was the best of the action. Chardin with a free kick opportunity very early on that didn't trouble Ridwan in the goal. This was the one real clear-cut chance that Hougang had from open play. They did have one from Nazrul in the second half, but that was all they really had in the first half, and Hafiz couldn't make it count. 12 minutes in, that's Gabriel Quack sailing it past Ridwan with an absolute beauty. And his industry over the last couple of match days has deserved a stunning goal like that, and it was well worth the wait. So that was 1-0, 12 minutes in. At half-time, they would go on to lose Stipe Plazibat with a hamstring injury. No question that's a blow. It could have actually been 2-0 before half-time. Here is Plazibat. Watch him get on the end of this after linking up with Heikel just before he went off injured. Plazibat hit that with his ankle, I think, rather than his boot. From the resulting corner, Chardin found Adam Swandy's header, which was eventually cleared after Ridwan just managed to save it. Into the second half, look at that ball from Chardin over the top. Gabriel Quack picks up the pieces, plays it out wide to Akari, and Hafiz Noor on the edge of the 6-yard box with the simplest of tasks for his first goal of the season. Lovely team goal, so typical of the goals that the Lion City Sailors have been scoring of late, and there's been plenty of them. Hafiz Noor very nearly got his second, but good defending, got it clear. And that was a lovely twist and turn from Hafiz Noor. Looked good in flight, didn't it? But Ridwan picked it out well. This was the one defensive lapse, and look at this miss from Nazrul. Miss of the game here from about 9 yards out. That one is bouncing down Hougang Avenue 8. Sharon Ishak as a half-time sub, getting involved, getting the ball to Gabriel Quack. His shot blocked initially from Lionel Tan, but Chardin reacted quickest to put the game beyond any reasonable doubt. This was deep into injury time, a weakish penalty. Jelly didn't like the decision. I'm not entirely sure it was Jelly who the referee was penalising there, but referee Lim pointed to the spot, and Charlie Michaels, second in as many games, gave Hougang a consolation. And if Lion City Sailors title aspiration rivals have one crumb of comfort, is that all that Lion City Sailors can't do at the moment is keep a clean sheet. Everything else, they're looking very tough to beat indeed. They managed 16 shots on goal, 6 of them on target. They converted 50% of those shots on target into goals, 6 corners to nothing. All the yellow cards went the way of Hougang, including a yellow card just seconds after his introduction from the Kyrgyzstan defender Maksat. So that's the tale of the tape. The Sailors win their 3rd game on the spin, but they do stay 3rd tonight after Albirex grounded out a result in their game against Balestier. Geylang are the big winners on the night. They go up into 4th. Geylang beating Tanjung Pagar United by 2-1. The Young Lions led in the first half in their game through Kairin Nadim, but a Jordan Wedd hat-trick, goals 99, 100 and 101 in Singapore football, means Tampines stay 2nd after Albirex Niigata maintain their place at the top of the table with a 2-0 win against the Tigers of Balestier. That game was the only game that was goalless at half-time. That's how the table looks. Goal difference is going to play a part. Trust me, I'm telling you, the Sailors hold the edge in that department, but they're still 3 points behind Albirex Niigata. And how does that set up very nicely, thank you very much, our title contention clash on Sunday when Albirex Niigata go to Bishan to take on the Lion City Sailors. Don't forget to keep checking back to all the social media channels for all the build-up to the upcoming games, including Geylang against Hougang from our Tampines hub on Saturday. There's also another clash on Saturday at Bishan as Balestier Khalsa entertain the Young Lions. Both those teams going into that one off the back of a loss. And on Sunday, mouth-watering clashes aplenty. Don't forget, on Sunday, we'll be at Bishan for the clash of 2 of the top 3 teams as the visitors will be Albirex Niigata, and Tampines Rovers will be heading to Jurong West to take on Tangchung Bagar. So it may be we have different league leaders by the weekend. Full time here, Hougang United 1, the Lion City Sailors 3.